Save me, Versace Gerbil.
Did you say Versace gerbil?
Versace Gerbil. It's my teammate.
Oh, hi. Welcome to On the
I
Stick
thought you were
After
talking
Dark,
to-
where we talk about Versace gerbils for some reason.
Gobana guinea pigs.
Because you would. Like, I don't know that they're neat.
as you do. As one
Right.
does, right?
As one does,
I
yes.
don't know. What are the famous fashion designers of 2019?
There's Versace gerbil.
Okay.
There's Dolce and gerbil.
Uh-huh.
There's F. Murray Abraham.
F. Furry Abraham.
I get it.
So I thought you had renamed your guinea pigs and had called
but I
one
could
Versace
name them
gerbil.
that. No, yeah, I could do that. Why not?
So I think I have mentioned that we had feral cats in the backyard, and they over the years they have dwindled, and then there were only two, and
Then
Marion
there was
has-
only one, and it was immortal.
There were two, and one was having some health problems, and so Marion wanted to bring her in. They were both getting very old, and also then wanted to bring the second one in because she didn't want to separate them. And so we always referred to the one as Stripey Cat because it was striped,
Uh-huh.
but didn't really have a name for the other cat, which is black. And so after we brought them in, it was like, well, we need to call it. I think she took that one to the vet at one point and just was like, I don't know, Sweetie, and so that was like a Sweetie Cat. And I was like, I'm not sure about that. I really think it should be solid. There's Stripey Cat and then a Solid Cat.
Solid cat.
Yeah.
You play billiards with your cats.
This seems like an appropriate conversation to have because the loading screens in this game for some reason take 7 million years. Also, someone watching the chat because I can't
was
really
waiting for the thing
Doesn't
to
say
actually
that you're
pop up so I
streaming.
could look at the chat. I also thought it was
I'm
relevant
live on this
because-
side.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
sure
it
didn't
is. I
change
just
the
had to
fucking
reload
thing
the page.
again?
I wasn't paying attention to it.
Okay. Well, I'm still not getting it, but
It's a trailer. There we go. Live now. Click. Knife Teeth. Well, Rhinonar says, hey guys, hello. Knife Teeth
Howdy.
says, gonna huff spray paint while I watch this. So
Don't recommend it.
I don't recommend doing
that seems like a bad plan.
Seems like a bad plan.
Yeah.
For a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
I won't enumerate them all, but so this is Devil May Cry 5. I'm a little ways into it. This is the 4th chapter, I believe.
Spoilers. Warning.
So if you're at all concerned with the story of Devil May Cry, which you probably shouldn't be because it's real dumb, then I guess
maybe think about your choices.
yeah.
One.
So the way that this game works is that instead of going to a statue of a time goddess, you call this sexy lady in glasses who comes and builds stuff for you.
Wait, who are you gonna call, Joe?
Ghostbusters. And
Devil Busters or something.
so this is I haven't spent enough time with this character because there are 3 playable characters at least in this game. And I just unlocked the second one, which is his name is V. And he doesn't attack directly. He has a bird and a panther that attack for him.
Okay.
And so I am
So
looking
he's
at
lazy.
upgrades. Yes, he's lazy.
Yeah, it's very lazy.
I have upgrades that I can sort of use here, but I don't feel like I've fully used the character enough to have like a good bead on which of these things are worth the money and which are not. So I'm not sure that I'm going to grab anything right this moment. But it's nice that you can try anything. when you, so like if I wanted to try this combo, I could just hit try, and it takes me in here to try this thing, and then it summons an enemy for me.
Who made this?
Who made this game?
Yeah.
Capcom.
Okay.
Like internal Capcom.
Directly. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So right, a lot of the combos I'm noticing here are like sort of timing based in this game. Like it's like hit triangle, then wait, and then hit triangle again to use this combo. Like if you hit him, if you mash, it does something different. You know, so there's that element of it. But you know, so that's kind of cool. So you can kind of get a vibe like, is this going to be useful? Do I like using this? Is it easy to pull off? You know, that kind of thing.
Right. Right.
So I think usually the van with the upgrades shows up right before a boss fight. So you get a sense that's kind of what's coming up here. So we'll see. But I like this game quite a bit so far. As far, you know, as relatively not that far as I am into it. I've really
So you can have both your buddies out at the same time?
Yeah, you can have both of them out at the same time. The bird is controlled with square, and the panther is controlled with triangle, so you can have them both doing stuff at the same time. And then V's devil trigger, like Dante turns into like a demon when he uses devil trigger, but this guy like summons a big monster that fights for him. So yeah, this looks like a boss fight, all right. And oh yes, the bird is like sardonic and
It's
stuff.
also the word.
Yes. Yep. I mean, everybody's heard about the bird.
He was breaking all kinds of stuff.
As the air to a bird, or the sea to a fish, so is contempt to the contemptible.
So this guy is like goth
Parasitic
poet.
friend, Nidhogg.
Oh man, Nidhogg. That's a video game.
That is a video game.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, bud.
Hey, Alex. Yeah, so the devil trigger is this guy here who the big lumbering guy that you're seeing there smashing these
Big
vines.
golem.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the devil trigger for V.
V's all right.
I like V so
Oh.
far.
It's just I was like, yeah, you know, the majority of the, well, not the majority of the game, but I guess like the earlier portions of the game, it's like play as Nero, play as V, play as Nero, play as V. You're like, okay, yeah, this is cool, and then it's like play as Dante, and it's like, fuck yeah, let's go. Like that's the part that I want. I was like,
Okay.
yeah, this is really cool. And then I got like Dante's got he's so complicated. He's more complicated than he's ever been, but it's just building off of all the shit he's done in the other games, so it all like feels normal and makes sense to me. So it's like, yeah, dude, like this fucking rules. Like, why the fuck would I play as any of these other squares? Give me fucking.
Is he more complicated, or do you think just give him a different?
No, he's way more complicated.
Shit.
He's way more complicated.
Oh,
He has two devil triggers. Spoilers. Like,
What?
yeah, he has like a ton of different. He can have up to 4 guns and
Is it
4
like a side by
swords.
side double trigger situation, or an over under double trigger?
It's an over under, and don't and you can get it over easy as well, but I don't like that as much.
It's hard. It's hard to get that to be running.
Right? Exactly. That's what I tell people, but they don't listen.
No.
Anyway, I should probably beat this game too. I've like played 3/4 of the way through it and then just stopped.
Yeah. It seems like you.
Well, Sekiro came out and then I haven't finished that either. I played it a bunch the other day, but
So I actually just got Sekiro from GameFly and haven't.
yeah.
haven't started it yet. Like I just got it yesterday, so I haven't had
Yeah.
a chance to give it a spin.
I don't think you'll like it, but I guess you should check it out because you physically have it.
Well, I didn't like Bloodborne, but I do like, character action games. So
It's just I don't know, maybe you'll like it, but to me it seems more of like a fighting game than it does a From Software game.
I mean, I also like fighting games, so
Yeah.
Knife Teeth says, I bet rubbing alcohol would hurt that thing bad. So,
that's a good point. That
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I'm just bringing out the golem
Maybe,
thing. Again.
maybe if you just gave him some salve,
Oh yeah, you should bring that dude out as often
he
as
would
you
be
can.
like, thanks, and here's a cookie, and move on, citizen.
I like the nonchalantness with which like V just like rolls up and is like, I'm gonna stab the hell out of this fool, and then
You gotta read the book, dog.
backs. Oh yeah, good get. What do you hold L2 to read the book?
I think so, yeah. But you should be fucking fuck this dude up real quick. Oh wait,
Or
the stream's
R1.
behind. Yeah, I don't remember, but yeah, one of the buttons.
Read that book.
Is he switched to having white hair at times?
When the devil trigger's on, he has white hair.
Apocalyptic.
Incidentally, I think it sucks in this game that you can't play as Trish and Lady. I'm like, dude, come on.
Yeah, I heard that. That's
Yeah.
bogus.
Like, you can just play as
Play
the
as the
three
tramp?
characters. No, that's DLC. It's not out yet.
Wait, what's DLC?
The Tramp.
The Tramp. Yes.
Yeah. Fucking spaghetti combo attack. It's fucking hella
That's
good.
where I was going. That's
It's
where I was
OP
going.
as fuck. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that game was really good. I think it's a little too easy on its default difficulty, but I think it's fun. I think it's good. And I haven't tried the harder difficulties because, like I said, I haven't beaten it yet. But
Well, I just got.
it's good. Is it?
Are you penalized for using orbs to revive? Because I haven't been. Like I've just been like going back to the checkpoint.
I think so.
You think you are penalized?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it's come up.
Anything going on in the chat?
No.
The last judgment draweth nigh. I like it better when it was just like you died.
Yeah. Oh man, I finished my first hardcore run of Resident Evil 2K19, and
Thank you for calling it by its proper title. Thank you.
Yes, of course. And
GM.
it man, the load times to go back to a checkpoint, because you can only, like on hardcore, you have to go back to your last save that doesn't like auto checkpoint you, and so it takes like way longer to load back to.
Right.
And it's just like, oh man, like
You
I
have
just
to go
want to
back
play
farther.
again,
Yeah.
and like
Right. You just need to get good.
just like load me.
It's
in,
like
man.
modern games invented checkpoints, so I didn't have to do this.
Yeah, so I didn't have to wait for it to
I get it.
reload.
You opted into it though, so it's your
That's
fault.
true. I did. Well, I didn't know I was opting into the like long ass load times.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's true. Long ass load times is a
Matt,
slightly different problem from starting farther back. So yeah,
Yeah.
I guess you're right.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that I had to like go back. It's that like when I have to go back, it's like I'm gonna sit here for 45 seconds and like just do nothing while I wait for it to load me into the last checkpoint. Whereas when you play in the normal mode and it's auto checkpointing every so far, like those load a lot faster. I assume
Right.
because they're like they're so close to wherever you die because they're so frequent.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, it's like it has the same area loaded. It just puts you at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Matt Kimball says, I haven't seen this one yet. Looks nice. This boss reminds me of Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
little bit of that going on for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah. To get back to Sekiro briefly,
Yeah.
it's very. It strikes me as like a defensive-minded Souls game.
Yeah,
'Cause you
yeah.
have
Coffee.
You have to parry and blah blah blah. Did Coffee
right,
talk
the
about
whole thing. He played it. For a
He
little
played
bit
it on the stream one night.
it? Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, I like it. I think it's really cool. It's just very different from Souls games. That's all.
Right. That's why I'm interested. Right. Because I
Yeah.
don't really like the Souls games all that much.
Well, first of all, you suck.
Yeah.
And second, Souls games
Sure.
are hella good. Not like you need
My
to get
response to
good
you
kind
is
of suck.
13
Like
bars,
no, like
but
you're a
fuck
bad
you.
person for not
Okay.
liking that. What is it? But yeah, no, it is good. You can tell that it's like the team who like was like, hey man, I had all these ideas when we were making like Bloodborne, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, but like we never were able to do it, and now we're doing it. You know what I mean? You can feel that they're like, oh dude, this is sweet. And they're right, it is. Like when the bosses are doing shit and you're just blocking all of it and like you getting all the perfect like little flashes when you do it, it's like hell yeah, dude. This fucking rules. Although now I am fighting the optional super boss in Sekiro and I kinda hate it, but I think Coffee bitched about that one time, so I won't bother talking about that. But he was right. I didn't know how right he was at the time. But I don't like this dude, V, because he's like playing an Arc Systems Work character. That makes sense?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's too much shit to manage. You gotta be too particular. Like super precise with your inputs, because like if you backdash out of something, your bird goes away. So you'll spend all this time putting your
Right.
bird in the right position, and then the bird goes away. Or if you side dash, then the dog goes away.
Right.
I guess it's a panther, but it's a dog. The
It's
dog
a
goes
panther,
away,
yeah.
and then you gotta
One
get
of
the dog back
bosses
in
from
the
Devil
right
May Cry
position.
1.
Huh?
I mean,
I guess
One of
they
the
are.
bosses
That's
from Devil May Cry 1.
that's true. I didn't think of that. Which is
Random
now
art.
coming to Switch of all things.
Yep.
How weird is that?
I mean, it's only weird in that like they just put out like a collection, and now they're like, just have this one.
Exactly. That's what I mean. That's what's weird. Is like, no, obviously nobody cares about 2, but like, so are they just gonna release like 3 separately,
I mean,
or just not at all?
I guess that
I don't know.
that seems.
I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. I just thought it was a really odd thing that they. Sorry, I saw something funny on the internet. I just thought it was a really weird choice.
Rhino Hour says 13, the PlayStation 2 cel-shaded shooter that came out in like
Oh, yeah.
2002 is getting a remake on the Switch.
Yeah, is
That's
it a
also
remake
hella
or is
weird.
it just like
Just
a
a port,
re-release?
maybe,
Yeah,
I
it's just
guess.
like a port, I think.
That's so weird.
This story says remake, but
Huh. Okay.
It's like one of those things where like what was that game? It was called like Sphinx something.
the Mummy, Sphinx and the something Mummy.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know, it was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
That got a
Sphinx
Switch
and the Curse of the
re-release.
Mummy.
Sphinx
Yeah,
and the Curse
and
of
I
the
was
Mummy,
like, dude, that game, I don't know a single person who's ever played it or have
Hi.
heard of anyone who's ever played it.
Hi.
I guess Eric played it,
I was
but
gonna say, it sounds like you do, as it turns out.
that's okay. So I know one person who's ever played it, and I don't remember like who thinks about that game. Who is like, dude, that game was fucking sick. I've never heard anybody say
This
anything
is-
about that game. I
This
just
is
found it in the
Sphinx
bargain
and the
bin.
Curse of the Mummy's time in the sun, man.
Yeah,
That game's
I just
pretty
like.
Lost in the noise of.
I mean,
it.
it was a pretty good third-person platformer, like puzzle game. for
It's just like one of those-
2003 standards, but yeah, it's weird.
Right, like it's one of those games that like nobody talks about and like is not remembered fondly. So it's like, why did that get a remake? Like, how did that happen? It's fine, I guess, but like, it just seems weird. It's like, why are these weird?
13 seems like a weirder pick to me.
I feel
13
like they
seems
are
weird,
equally
yeah.
weird to me. Like
Where's my Mark of Kree remake? Damn it!
that
Word.
seems less. That seems less weird to me. That's the one that makes the most sense out of all this
Really?
That's
shit.
what I'm saying.
remake that and fix the last level. And
Yeah.
classic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid that's a little bit more than I can take on right now.
I think that bird's in Game of Thrones, isn't he? Topical.
Different
Hashtag
bird.
Topical.
Different bird.
Let me tell you my thoughts and opinions on Game of Thrones.
Please don't.
I haven't watched anything since the first season because I thought it was like pretty mediocre. So
Hey, me too. High five,
Hey,
bud.
yeah.
I actually am super fascinated with the whole last season and everybody's reactions to it, because like it's been like such a roller coaster watching everybody else freak out about it every week.
Mhm.
It's really entertaining to me, like in a very strange way, because everybody was like, "Wow, it's good," and then they're like, "Yeah, this is so cool," and like they were super
It's
into
like
it,
what
and
happened
then
with Mass
as the
Effect 3, but in slower motion because it's happening across
yeah that's a
long episodes, and also, but
Yeah.
I'm not familiar enough with the material to have an opinion on it like I
Right.
did with Mass Effect. So I'm
right exactly.
outside looking in.
Yep. Thank you.
It
That's a
feels
good
a
way to
lot
put it.
like it feels a lot like a lot of people thought Game of Thrones was something other than what it actually was, and now they're figuring that out, and
Right.
like everybody is apoplectic about it, and that's pretty fantastic to watch.
Yeah.
the whole thing play out.
But some people are still super into it and are like defending against those other people who are saying that.
So
And it's
my
it's-
uncle is liking it and having fun with this season, and we were talking about it, and he's like, no, like this was just like a dumb fantasy show that I liked because it had dragons and people getting killed by swords and boobs and stuff in it, and it was like a fun thing to watch every week. And it's definitely the people that thought there was some grander, like,
Well, I think
Right.
that there. I don't want to, because I'm sure there are people who are not caught up that I
yeah.
But,
Let's
like-
keep the spoilers free, folks.
well, I haven't watched it, so
I
I
still-
don't know that I can
yeah.
spoil it.
Well,
much.
I have been watching it, so I can. But I'll just say that like I am still enjoying it, and I think the people who are like totally suddenly apoplectic about like it sucks now. I don't know. I think some people just like to talk about how things suck on the internet, like, and so
Fair.
that's just like
I think this
a
this
bunch
is
of people
a little
like this
different
thing,
than that.
and I think
Yeah.
it sucks. So
There's a lot of people that feel betrayed by this in the way
That's
that they felt
super
betrayed by
weird.
Mass Effect 3.
That's super weird because, well, so one, like that's a byproduct of like
But
the
Joe,
sort
the
of
White Walkers were a metaphor for climate change, and then they were easily
Sure.
defeated, and it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, they
'cause
weren't easily defeated, is the thing.
They only took one episode or
so-
something. I don't know.
It's just, yeah, I don't. That's a particular complaint that I haven't seen, but I have no doubt that it exists. Yeah, I don't know. I think that it would be weird in this show to think like, oh, I wanted like a happy ending in this specific, like specifically in way X, and then like that in a show where like in the, so this is I guess technically a spoiler if you haven't watched too much, but like in like the third season, a bunch of the people who you think are like sort of the presumptive good guy
Main
heroes
characters.
get
Yeah,
like
they all
offed
die. Yeah.
in like a pretty big way, right? In like a big moment. And so like the idea that you'd be like everything's going to be fine and we're going to get a happy ending is like, that's a weird way to
The thing that I've seen the most is not necessarily that people. I saw one person put it pretty succinctly, which is like, if you take a bullet point of all the things that have happened, everybody's seemingly on board with it. It's how they got to the bullet points that like doesn't feel right. And I'm like, well, I guess I don't know, but
I'm not watching it.
yeah, exactly. I'm not
I'm enjoying
watching it, so I
watching
guess. But
everybody
to me, it's always been bad. So I'm like, yeah, dude, I guess it is because it always was.
When I watched that first season, I really didn't.
The way I got
seemed like it was not on like The Wire level or Breaking Bad level.
So
in terms
yeah,
of-
when
I
it
mean,
started, a bunch of my
almost nothing.
coworkers were freaking out because
No,
they were
that's
excited.
true. But those are the only TV like those like I don't know.
right. I mean, that's weird. It's weird to be like,
But
this
that's-
isn't
that
as
is-
good as some of the best television in history.
Right,
so
but
like,
I definitely feel like that is
Okay.
the presence in which a lot of people have felt that the show has been.
Yeah, no, it absolutely.
like a
is.
When I
super
read
big
about it
budget,
from the
you know.
outside, that's the sort of like top tier level thing that people talk about it, and that's the sort of lofty.
I mean, the only thing that the complaints I have are mostly around like the pacing. Like, it's just like towards the last couple of seasons, all of a sudden shit happens like maybe a little bit faster than it feels natural for it to. But I also get like I don't want to just like watch this person trudge from place to place for 4 episodes. So, like, just get them to the place they're going.
I actually saw somebody on Twitter last week kind of break it down in a way that I hadn't really seen, which I thought was kind of interesting. He said, one of the things about this is that there are 2 kinds of sort of there are 2 there's more than this, right? But there's like 2 main approaches to like doing stories. There's the people who he called them pantsers and plotters. And it's like plotters are like meticulous and they create a whole, they know exactly where everything's going. Meticulous notes, and it's like this. Here's my outline, and here's how it's all going to work, and know where their end goal is, and they write towards that, and everything like goes in a certain direction, and it all has a grand, right? And then you have pantsers who like go by the seat of their pants, and they have an idea of like, here are my characters, and here's the way they work, and I will sort of line them up and put them into the setting and let them do their thing, and see where that goes. And he said, George R.R. Martin has essentially stated that he's that kind of person because, some of the problems he's had in writing books, because there's a whole thing about how fast he gets them out and all this stuff. Is like, he apparently has stated like, Daenerys got stuck in Marine for a while, and I couldn't figure out how to move that forward. And there was essentially a point where between 2 books there was supposed to be a jump fight, and he realized he wasn't sure how to make that happen because that's not really the way he would normally do things. He would be like, okay, they're going to do these things, and they're going to do those things, and then what? Well, they wander off here and they have this fight. Okay, then what? Right? And you can't like make that jump if you don't know where everything's going, or at least you can't make it work. And he said essentially, the beginning of the show they were very clear books at some level, and so doing all that stuff and everything's all motivated, and you have people doing things, and then essentially they got to the last season, and we're like, we have 2 seasons left, and we have to wrap everything up, and we don't really know like where it's all going to go. We like know what the end goal is, but we have to kind of reverse engineer from them. So essentially changed the methodology and the way the story's getting told in the middle, and that's sort of fucked with things like pacing and motivation and stuff like that, which I thought was an interesting way of looking at it. I don't know if I fully buy into it, but I've read enough, like ruminations from writers and different kinds of books and stuff like that to get like, I can see where this might be, related in this way, to sort of why things might have different tones and why they might have kind of written themselves into a corner or whatever.
Yeah.
Matt Kimball says some people call the pantser building the parachute on the way down. Yeah, it's like we leap out of the thing and go, I hope this all worked out.
Yeah, you're in the plane and you're gonna be on the ground. You just got to figure out the in-between parts.
Yep, right, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, I do like watching the internet self-combust over stuff. I would be just as happy if people just got what they wanted and could be happy with a fun show.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the other
I'm not
problem,
rooting for people to hate it, but
the other problem with this is, right, it's been running for like 8 years now, right? And like everybody, there is a huge contingent of people that were super obsessed with the books before they even started the show. Right, and then the show happened and they like got super invested in the show, and now the show is ahead of the books.
Right.
And so they're like super invested on it has to go the way I want it to, instead of just I know where it's going to go because I've already read the book, and I just need to see them
Right.
make
So
this
Well,
work.
so that's
that
also
was what I was gonna say. Is like this is partially like this whole weird fucking fan booking like culture where it's just
Right.
like
That's where I was going with that. Yeah.
That's
exactly.
true.
every
yeah.
narrative is a puzzle for
Yo,
me to
what's up, Mass
solve,
Effect
and
3?
if I haven't figured out like if the way I want it to go or the way I've decided I think it should go isn't the way it goes, then
Yeah.
like I don't like it
Yeah.
anymore. And that
Here's
was
the
like what
problem
happened
That
with
shit
Star
drives me
Wars.
Yeah,
crazy.
whatever.
Right.
And they should have done this, and they should have done
Right.
that. Yeah.
Like that was what all the negative reactions to Last Jedi was like 100% that. It was like I thought that Rey's parents were going to be important and I thought this, that,
Right.
and the other, and I thought this, and it
Like,
wasn't
it doesn't
that.
matter
So
what
now
you
I'm
thought.
like mad
That's not
about
the
it.
story. Yeah.
And
I
it's
don't
like-
understand why wouldn't Luke Skywalker do 3 backflips and throw a lightsaber at a bunch of stormtroopers?
Right.
Actually,
Right.
Alex, you make
It's
a
like
good
'cause he's
point.
like 65.
Why didn't he do that? That would have been pretty dope, though.
I mean, I would have been fine with that. But I think the movie as is still like super great,
I haven't
No.
seen any of those new Star Wars movies.
dude. Last Jedi is really good,
Last
and
Jedi
the
is really
first one
good.
is like acceptable.
It's the first one is
You know
totally
what?
tolerable.
I've
I
seen,
agree
like,
with both of those.
I've
Yeah.
seen like 7 Star Wars movies. I think I'm good. I think I've had enough.
Ken,
Yeah, but it-
Terminated by Google, has said multiple times, Joe, I have a Ninja Gaiden question. So,
Okay.
what is your question?
Yes,
Well,
what
just
is your
say
question,
What your
Ken?
question is instead of saying you
Yeah,
have a
just
question.
ask the question.
What's his best combo in DOA 6?
I can't answer that one, so I hope that's
Ah,
not it.
shit! Damn it!
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the new Star Warses for the Solo was like kind of a snooze, but other than that,
There
I
were
thought-
some
I
good
didn't
elements
see-
to it, but it was a little wonky.
it was
I did not
fine.
did not
Yeah,
see
Donald
Solo,
Glover was
but
great.
It was better
I
than
saw
the prequels.
I saw Rogue One, which okay, I guess if I guess Rogue One was better than the prequels, but then
I liked
again,
Rogue One a
what
lot,
isn't?
I mean,
I
that's
thought
right.
Rogue One fucking was kind of shitty though. I did not think it was good.
I liked
I was like,
Rogue
yeah,
One.
it was fine,
I liked Rogue One a
But,
lot.
but like,
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
I thought it was bad.
Was there an import version of Ninja Gaiden 2? You recommended the import version of Gaiden 3 and Ninja Gaiden 3 in one video. That is the question.
I mean, there is, but it's not different.
It's in
Like
Japanese.
it's in Japanese.
Yeah,
That's
but,
pretty
like,
much the only difference as far as I'm aware.
It's the same name, same game,
same name.
Yeah.
which is a much less interesting video.
It's a much
series.
less interesting show, yeah. Yeah, it's yeah.
Here are
Ninja
two
Gaiden
games
1
that
and
are-
2
turned out to
are
be
the
the same.
same. They're in Japanese, but they're otherwise the same on the Famicom as they are on the NES.
Pardon me if you spoke about this earlier, but news today on the interweb.
Oh no.
Not politics news that makes me want to kill myself.
Okay,
The good kind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mario Maker.
Close.
yeah. Let's
I don't give a shit
Mario
about
Maker
that.
2. Fuck you. No, we're talking about Mario Maker 2 now.
No,
Did you
give me
guys
2
watch that
seconds.
stream? No, fuck off. Now we got this
No,
more
fuck
important stuff
you.
to talk about.
Fucking.
Did you guys see there's There's a crazy moon in Mario Maker 2 that you can replace. So that has the evil sun. It has like a friendly moon that you can jump up and touch and it'll kill all the enemies on the
Wait,
screen.
I'm in.
Also, it makes all the levels
I'm in.
at night. And so like the underground levels are upside down Mario. And then all the
That
other
sounds
ones have
amazing.
other different effects. Like one has like water level rise and fall, but at night the water is poison. And there's like a bunch of crazy new shit in this that's like stuff that has not been
this
in
is
Mario games
amazing.
before.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah,
The,
I'm into
the
that.
giant list of things that is in Super Mario Maker 2 is fucking wild. Multiplayer mode, like you can make levels that are intended for 4-player co-op or 4-player battle levels. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay,
in
but can I
addition to,
make a
like-
world of like several levels that are connected by points on a map?
They haven't said that yet, so maybe not. I
Bullshit.
don't. It's
This game sucks.
yeah, it's obviously going to be totally.
This is
garbage.
not. They
Fucking
should have made
garbage.
the game in this
Bonsai
way.
Bill is in
Yeah.
the game.
I love
Bonsai
Bonsai
Bill?
Bill.
Yeah, the giant.
The giant
that's
bullet bill.
Oh, okay,
gigantic
yeah,
one,
okay.
But what about Sour Bill from?
You
Wreck-It
can
Ralph?
ride inside of a dry bones shell, and it makes you It makes you vulnerable to lava.
Okay.
Ah,
Wild.
is there a Karibo shoot?
You can. There's like not only are there left and right scrolling, but there's also up and down scrolling, and you can control the rate and direction which the screen scrolls. So you can make like weird like the cheese bridge levels from Mario
Yeah,
World,
yeah.
that kind of shit.
So like somebody's gonna remake like fucking whatchamacallit, Galaga and
Someone will be.
is that what you're saying to me?
I
Galaga
believe
doesn't
I'm
scroll at
scrolling
all,
it.
dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Galaga's a
believe
single screen
make
shooter, my man.
Mario 1-1.
What's the one I'm thinking of? What's like a top
Gradius?
name any top-down shooter?
Xevious.
Xevious.
There you go.
Xevious.
Thank you.
Yeah.
1943.
You can
Okay.
also
A friend of
so you can-
mine
you can
back
also
in the day used
now
to
you
say
can-
X-Evious.
Yes, Xevious. Xevious.
If you're playing it
You
on
can
computer
also-
to start it, you have to launch EXCV. Okay, anyway.
One of the most exciting things that I saw actually was the ability to like stop the camera from scrolling sometimes. So you could make like in the other game.
So you can make Galaga. Okay, cool.
The game
Yeah,
would,
yeah.
So in the other game, the camera would always scroll forward and show you like the camera was kind of locked to Mario's position, but now you can lock it so that you can make like a one room area that is like cordoned off from the rest of the level to make like basically the secret levels from Super
You
Mario
can-
Brothers.
You can make a police.
No,
state.
you can make like a shop.
Yeah, you can make it like anything that is just you can make a single screen room basically, which doesn't
Nice.
seem like a thing that should be that exciting, but is actually really cool.
But the
'cause
real
it's-
question is, can I make a card game where I have to like remember where all the mushrooms are and where all the stars
maybe
are?
who knows,
so
man?
that I can...
Maybe.
Yeah, but you got to be creative and you got to like, there's not going to be cards in the game, so you're going to have to put like a turtle there or some shit.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So now I'm curious though what Alex's news was that he was actually going to talk about before.
I don't care anymore.
Yeah, that guy
No, go
sucks. There's a Castlevania collection that comes out tomorrow.
Yep.
And then
yeah,
they're gonna
right.
have as DLC like the Japanese version of like the early Castlevania games. Yeah, so,
which
like-
is on the one hand that's cool. On the other hand, it's weird that it has to be DLC. Like, if you already have
They just
the...
said like an up. It's a free update.
Right,
quote,
right,
unquote.
right. Yeah, I mean it's free DLC or whatever. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, like,
was-
if you already have an emulator that's running NES games, like, you could probably just plunk those into the same emulator and like it would be fine. Like, you know,
Well, yeah. I mean, there's ways to play like fucking Castlevania 3 like in Japanese right now. Like, you know what I mean? You don't need
Right.
the collection for that. But if you want like to do it
If you
on your
wanna play
PlayStation or
Castlevania 3
Switch or
with an
whatever,
inferior version of the soundtrack, you can do that.
with a much better
excuse me,
version of the soundtrack.
superior.
Yes, Alex is correct.
Did you say
Yeah.
new superior?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I do believe I said that word. That is not a word.
Official Trudeau says, "Hey everyone, I'm still waiting on
He's still waiting on
Ninja
what?
Gaiden 4. Ninja
On
Gaiden
what?
Ninja Gaiden 4." To which Ken says, "It better not suck." Has-
Wasn't the one that Keiji Inafune had the hand in? Wasn't that Ninja Gaiden 4? The one that everyone hated? Ninja Gaiden Yaiba or whatever the hell it was called.
Oh yeah.
It was like a Wii U thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even remember
Forgot about that. Yeah. Let me.
You're like a robot ninja, maybe, or something. I don't remember.
Yaiba Ninja Gaiden 3.
They
Or-
wait,
sorry.
Z, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Ninja
that's
what I'm
Gaiden
saying.
Yanya Kabbalista. What?
That I would be in for a Ninja Gaiden Yanya Kabbalista with the finger with the skateboard that goes on my
skateboard.
across
Yeah,
my
right.
across my.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
um,
Okay.
Have you
Man, I totally forgot about this game.
put a Raspberry
What, Yanya
Pi outputting
Kabbalista?
to an NES,
No,
emulating
Yaiba
SNES
Ninja Gaiden Z.
and reduced colors. He had a system set up to also convert platformers into 3D automatically. What?
wait, what are you
No
talking?
one-
What are you?
He
A
started talking
Raspberry
about.
Pi outputting to an NES, emulating Super Nintendo games in reduced colors.
What you just said to me is
I
very
don't know,
strange.
I don't know. Can you put a? Can people link things in the chat? Can you link to that? That'd be interesting. I'd watch that.
Someone put a
I
Raspberry Pi
think-
outputting to an NES. This emulating Super Nintendo and reduced colors. I don't understand why that.
I feel
would
like
be a
I
thing.
saw someone recently, like a year ago. I saw someone use use an NES to emulate the Super NES, and it looked very weird and kind of janky. But it was like kind of fun from a perspective of like
I
we
found
did this
somebody
because we
used
can.
A video.
He said he's gonna
from
put a
May
link
of
in.
last year.
Yeah.
He says he had a system set up to also convert platformers into 3D automatically. I would wonder how 3D-ish they were.
Probably not very.
Yeah.
This Yaiba game looks like fucking shitty.
They said that it was. That was the consent. That seemed to be the consensus at the time.
They said it.
They did say that. They talk a lot
They do.
Yeah, I'm
They
closing this
certainly
window.
They
'cause
care
it's
a
getting
lot as well.
sad.
As I understand it.
about disasters, fires, floods, killer bees.
Yeah. Late Night Boy 1. Took me a second to figure out what that name was. Says, I want Roger. Roger doesn't appear on the
Roger
stream.
doesn't do the stream because the logistics
doesn't
of
have
that
enough
are extremely difficult.
Joe doesn't have enough hands to make that
I
happen.
don't have enough hands to make that happen.
And we don't want to see what
Roger only
alternatives
appears
might
if Joe's
exist.
giving him a hand job during the.
Oh, that's what I was trying to stay away from.
Joe, I told you, read the fucking book. Jesus Christ, dude. I look away from the stream for a while and I come back and you're not reading the book.
Today, in the role of the internet, Alex Rio.
You're welcome.
What else is new?
Yeah.
Uh,
You gotta fucking charge up your stand power, dude. Come on.
he says it wasn't bad. Matt says it wasn't bad. It made Zelda look like Wolfenstein. Not even sure I understand what that means. Had a sort of first-person thing going on with Super Mario Brothers. And then he says, robotics! Narcast says, we're not at the level of telekinesis to control Roger. Or
Definitely
or
not.
puppet kinesis, for that matter.
There's more Borderlands 3 news.
He gives a shit.
Is it not related to Randy Pitchford acting like a total d-bag?
No, it
'Cause
sounds like it's actual news about Borderlands 3. But it's really hard.
all the Borderlands 3 news seems to be, and Randy Pitchford said something real fucking stupid today.
I would like for him to not say anything else, and also
Yeah.
maybe just go
Or
away,
exists.
so I could just
Enjoy things you want to
Borderlands 3
enjoy.
and just have fun playing that game that might be good, and not have to worry about all the bullshit going on.
Yeah, I really wanted to play that game, and I emailed you guys because I was really excited about it. And then you were all like, "Oh, didn't you hear about Randy Pitchford?" And I was like, "What?" And then I looked into it. Now I'm like, "Fuck, man! God damn it! Like you son of a bitch!"
bitch!
Yeah.
Like, the latest controversy I heard was like, he was like, there's no microtransactions in this. And then like,
Yeah,
the
that was
editor-in-chief
crazy.
of Game Informer was
Informer.
like, yeah, there actually is. And Pitchford was like, how could you betray me like this?
How
And
could
it's
you
like,
fuck me
whoa.
like this?
It's like, whoa, dude.
He literally did say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, how could you lie to people who wanted to play
right,
the game
right.
that?
Like,
Pay to progress or pay to win microtransactions, but there are cosmetic microtransactions, which I guess.
I mean, yeah, that's the better way to do that, but that's also not true if you just say that there's no microtransactions.
right. If you say there's no
Not
microtransactions, and there are.
Microtransactions. Is in
They're,
the
it turns out they're macro transactions.
Did you say Michael transactions?
Yeah, microtransactions.
Microtransactions.
My favorite.
The king of pop. Yeah, Michael transactions.
Mike transactions. Yeah.
Mike's transactions are on point, if you ask me.
I'm trying to think of a Never mind.
Don't.
I'm trying to think. I'm just not even gonna do it. I'm trying to think of Michael Jackson song puns that
yeah,
no,
I was
it's not.
too. Yeah.
There's
yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
fun about Michael Jackson anymore either.
Yeah.
Although I have felt that way for a long time, and I feel like I had said stuff and then got shushed for it, and then now it's like people are like, "Oh no, actually, maybe."
Well, because a new documentary came out that was like
Yeah. But I feel like
Everybody knew
relitigating
that
all
he-
that
we knew
stuff.
it already.
We've known all that our entire lives. All of that is not new.
Now this was just the proof that people needed, I guess, to
Yeah.
get it. Oh, also Mario Maker 2, you can do the spotlight effect in the ghost houses if you do the night thing.
Nice.
It's kind of neat. I don't know. I'm really excited about Mario Maker 2.
Yeah, I'm into it. Will
I'm
will
excited
codes
that
for
you're
the old
excited.
levels still work? I wonder. Like,
I
can I
doubt
put
it.
in a?
I would.
Maybe.
Yeah, I would doubt
I
it.
doubt
That
it,
would be
though.
cool though.
I mean, unless they're taking stuff out, there doesn't seem like
Also,
to be a good
Mario has a
reason why they
car.
wouldn't.
There's a power up where Mario drives a car.
Is there a power up where like you just nudge right once and then the level plays by itself the whole time? Because that's what 90% of the fucking levels are gonna be. That's what actually,
Yeah,
that's what I want the
there's
most.
1%
I
of
want a
them are gonna
good
be
discovery
awesome, and it's gonna be
system.
totally worth it.
Right, but I want a good discovery system where those will like actually float to the top and not just like here's a level that plays like "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen as Mario like runs through the level by himself. Like I don't. That's cool in its own way, but like I don't. That's not what I'm not paying $50 or $60 for Mario Maker 2 for that. You know, like I want some good ass Mario levels. Let's see here.
Snarkcast says I didn't hear anything about it, but I would like that considering I never played the first Mario Maker. So they couldn't even keep the levels around in the original Mario Maker with any regularity. So I would not hold your breath on backwards compatibility being a thing.
Yeah.
So side note, one of my favorite things about this game is when you call the lady who makes your weapons and she just like drives a van into the most improbable places, and it's just like the best fucking thing.
It's pretty good. It never gets old.
Yeah, it's like this dude, like goth boy with his Ghost Panther is just kicking it by this phone booth, and now she's gonna like fucking drive over a building like in a conversion van. Oh, sorry, through a building. I apologize. Yeah, she's gonna pop a wheelie like through a sewer and just be like, "All right, here I am."
Yep.
Drive up and go, sup.
So far, my favorite part of the game is when Nero beats that one guy in like stage 3 or whatever, and then she hands him like his tail, and she goes, "Oh, I can make some cool stuff out of this." And he goes like, "Oh, don't you know where that's been?" She just goes, "Or you don't know where that's been?" And he goes "Up your butt." It's like that's not even a good joke. But like it's so dumb and stupid. I was like, all right, I like that a lot actually. Like, it's like the worst joke. It also totally fits like Devil May Cry's whole like ethos. So.
Yeah.
Is that the right way to use that word? I don't know.
Yes.
Yes.
I said it, and then I was like, I don't think I've like ever said that word. Anyway.
See.
Fuck.
Matt Kimball says, "Guys, I'm working with War Scrapper in that dilemma. It's ad supported, so there's constant financial pour towards putting more ads at the user, which I hate. I'm trying to get shifted over to ad-free, free-to-play, supported by skins and cosmetics."
Yeah, but that's different though, right? If a game is free and it's supported by that shit, that's totally chill.
Right. It feels you're right. Cosmetic stuff doesn't bother me, but definitely like, what are those? There's those two or three really big games by,
Fortnite.
No, not Fortnite. But they're like card collecting, but it's like tower defense with units, and you have to buy you can like just buy the currency to buy the better units. So it's like impossible to. Brad Shoemaker was playing a bunch on Giant Bomb and kept complaining about the way that the model was constructed. But yeah, I mean that's like Joe said, that's just a different thing. And also I don't have a problem with any of the microtransaction stuff like in anything most of the time, because if it's bad, then I just don't have to play the game. And
right.
I feel like there's a point where it starts to feel kind of predatory, though, even if I'm able to ignore it, like other people.
Well, definitely it is.
You know,
I mean,
aren't.
that's a little bit of a different consideration.
But it seems like
for the single player game, I don't give a shit if somebody can like pay to win, whatever.
As long as it's balanced well for a normal player to play it. That's the problem.
Right.
Is it like the end game of that the sequel to Shadow of Mordor was not balanced for that.
Right.
And
well, I mean it was, and then they had to rebalance it when they pulled all that shit out. Like they did a big patch that changed like the level progression after level 30 or whatever.
It wasn't balanced in a way that was friendly to players.
Right. Well, because they wanted you to pay for the shit, right? That was the idea. It was like we're gonna make it grindy on purpose. So
it
was like post level 30, I think, is what they ended up rebalancing. Like after, so I don't know how many levels there are. If you can level up to 40 or 50 or whatever, but I think it was level 30-ish where it was like everything after that is now rebalanced to take out the pay to win shit.
I don't even care. Like pay to win is fine. Pay to actually play
Right.
Right. That's
That's
That's what I did when I bought the game.
I
Yeah,
mean, that's
no,
that's the
sure.
problem I have, right? Is like
plunk down $50 and I gotta have some more onerous bullshit or give you another $50. That's fucked
right
up.
when the game is like now you have to grind for, and again, if the game is free to play, like what was that Suda 51 free to play thing? Death Tower or whatever.
Die another day.
That's a James Bond movie.
Yeah, Die Another Day. No,
That's
it's Die.
Die, my darling.
something.
That's a
Wait.
Misfit song.
Yep.
Let It Die.
Let
Is
It
that
It Die.
Let It Die. Yeah.
Like the Beatles
Right.
song.
So like
Let
that.
it die. Let it die.
So that like that's kind of obnoxious, but again, the game is totally free to play, so I get it, you know. When you're just like, okay, you paid $60 for a game, and now you also like we're also gonna make it really, really onerous to level up unless you buy shit. That's where
Right.
I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
And your game isn't $60.
can we not like, yeah, because now you. I mean, and that's why I think, I don't know, we've talked a little bit about Capcom's like redemption arc over the last couple of years, and I feel like
Except their fighting
except
game
their
division.
fighting games, right? But you know,
Just clarifying, that's all.
right? But
yeah.
like Resident Evil
Caveat.
2 and Resident Evil 7 and this game, like there's none of that shit, right? Like you buy the game and like
Yeah.
there's
And they're
some
fucking
DLC stuff that like. But even with the Resident Evil, both the
But
Resident
in
Evil
Critical.
games.
Yeah, Monster Hunter has a ton
were-
of free DLC as well.
Yeah,
Like,
right. Monster
Yeah.
Hunter as well.
all the shit that you really want is free. It's just like, hey, do you want to buy like a coat? It's like, no, dude, fuck off. And it's like, well, it's $3. It's like, okay, well, shut up.
Wanna buy this horse armor?
You can make the handler look like Doodle though, and that's or sorry, the Guild Marm, and that's a big deal if you know who the Guild Marm is. But
Nope.
play Monster Hunter 4. It's a good game. Anyway, there's probably nobody playing it now though.
Yeah,
However,
I don't know. I always like with all that stuff. It always just comes down to how it feels,
How it's
to me within
implemented,
the
yeah.
context, and how it's implemented. And I don't like with this supposed like legislation limiting predatory loot boxes and games aimed at minors or whatever. I just don't.
Well, I worry about that because the language
I
is
really
very,
don't want the
very,
government to get involved in stuff
yeah.
like that if it can ever possibly be avoided. And I really hate it when legislation is framed as like, we got to save the children from this evil whatever it is. Like that stuff never makes me feel very comfortable.
Right.
Although I definitely like even for something as inconsequential as like Overwatch loot boxes, like the drop rates for everything should be like easily accessible. People should have the information to know what they're getting into when they're buying any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
But
You have a
Like I
1 in
said,
500 chance of getting this skin you want. Okay.
for
Got
me,
it.
it's definitely on a game-to-game basis, and I don't. We've had this discussion so many times, but I just don't know what the like is the answer. That video games should just be like $80 or $90 because they're so much more expensive to make. Like,
But I feel like at this
think I would
point,
be okay with
developers
that,
would
but-
they would still put DLC in them even if they raise the price, right?
well,
Like,
so
Yeah.
DLC is different than microtransactions, though, too, right?
right.
So like if DLC is like an expansion or like a new chapter of the story or just like
Right.
a few more hours of content or like a giant expansion like in Baldur's Gate 2 or whatever, then
Right. That's an entirely different proposition.
Right.
right. Is the Cuphead thing paid or is that just
I
free?
have no idea.
I don't know.
Anyway, let's see what's going on in the chat. Ken Terminated by Google says, if Mario Maker 2 surpasses the first game, the Wii U is no longer worth getting in 2019. I think it's safe to say,
the Wii U is no longer
regardless of the quality of Mario
Yeah.
Maker 2, the Wii U is no longer worth getting in 2019.
Yeah.
The old
Yeah.
Mario Maker was pretty much the only thing that Wii U had going for it at this point. That
Mario
and
3D World.
SMT.
No,
Mario 3D World.
Isn't
yeah.
Mario 3D World coming to? I thought that was.
Pikmin 3.
I think people have theorized that it is coming
Everybody,
to
it makes sense to, but it has not been announced.
And
Right.
also Tokyo
Tokyo
Mirage.
Mirage Sharp.
I really had a great time with that, and I would love that to come to.
My Breath of the Wild save.
Yeah, Alex is.
Yeah,
specific
my
to-
Breath
That's
of the
on
Wild
you.
save as well. Actually, now that
That's on you,
mention
man.
it.
And what was there was that Xenosaga game that came out on Wii U also.
Was there?
Yeah. There's
Sure.
Xenosaga. There's Xenosaga 2.
Xenoblade Chronicles is the one.
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles. Yeah.
Well, but there's
I guess
Xenoblade.
there's so many Xeno things that aren't really related that I always.
I'm trying to tell you, but you keep interrupting me.
Biologist 27 and a half.
Because there was another one on Switch, and then there was like another one on Switch also that has the same title but with a subtitle, which makes it confusing.
You don't say.
Yeah.
There was another one on Switch, and then there was another one on Switch. I like the emphasis changed.
It was on the right syllable, but
Right. Yeah.
let's see here. Fucking those games are bad anyway. It's fine. Actually, people said Xenoblade Chronicles is really good, but I didn't play that one.
Now I can't. Like my rank goes down because he killed my animal buddies, and so now I have to like. Oh no!
You only need to hit him like once from where you are on the stream. I appreciate that you're reading the book.
I appreciate that you appreciate that I'm reading the book.
The book is clutch, dude. You need the book. V's all about the book.
It's true.
Also, once you get your devil gauge like up more, it like you got a lot more work to do, and the book, helps with that.
Right.
You can get up to like 8 bars or some shit. I don't remember, but it's a lot, and the sooner you get there, the more Golem time you have.
It's true.
You can ride on him like he's a horse.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's some talk in the chat about video game reviews and big media reviewers being in someone's pocket, says Matt Kimball. I always
Yeah, I don't.
personally
I don't really buy that
I'm
at all.
way more leery of people that are supposedly independent on YouTube because they aren't like their money is entirely dependent on getting views, and they're the ones that seem more likely to like not have.
There's been evidence.
right
Correct.
like the game, so I would
Right.
be careful about that. But
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
been
really, I don't really
Right.
buy into the
Yeah.
like, oh, Nintendo pays IGN for good or whatever. Like, they don't give a shit because the game, like, bad games sell anyways, right? So like, and the one time that something like that did happen, it was like a giant fucking fiasco, right? Like the Jeff Gerstmann thing in 2006 or whatever, like, or 2007, whenever that happened.
I think the stream is gone.
Great.
No, it's.
Is it?
Oh yeah, you're right. It is.
It's offline for me.
Yeah, it's off.
I have to
Yeah,
go.
I don't. This stuff on chat always makes me. I really don't understand why people think that some random person on YouTube is a better source
Yes.
for whatever. Just
I agree.
because
Yeah,
somebody
I was
on one
about
of
to
those
call that out. I
websites
was like, that's
wrote a review that they
stop
didn't
saying that.
agree with or whatever. But
Yeah.
that's like IGN gave Doom a 7.1, but partially.
It's because the multiplayer was all fucked up when it came out.
Yeah, and the multiplayer of that game sucks, but
Right.
like it depends on what your
Okay, we
philosophy
should
is.
be
about the game and
back.
stuff.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Numbers don't matter.
This is a bigger conversation than I'm ready to have
Play-
at the moment.
Yeah. Play what you like. Don't worry about what the fuck other people think. And with that, I'm gonna go. 'Cause I gotta get up and do pork shit in the morning.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Kurt.
Good night.
Okay, there we go. Stream resumed. I don't know how long we were gone there, and I don't I'm plugged into Ethernet, so I have no fucking clue why it just decided like, nope, we're just gonna drop you now. But maybe they changed the stream key while we were in the middle of a stream. Anyway, oh geez, it is 11:30 though, so
Yeah.
I think that
Did you want to talk
probably
about video
is
game reviews, Joe?
gonna be nah. I don't really.
We
like
were
I said,
talking
I
about
don't-
it, but I don't
I
know.
don't really buy that whole idea that
Yeah, I think,
whatever.
like I said, I think that like YouTubers seem more likely to be tainted in some ways, especially financially by those, especially because a lot of them.
Well, there
are
wasn't there a
actually
big
being
thing with
paid in some
Shadow of
cases to
War? Was it Shadow of
stream
War?
games and stuff.
Coming back to that
but
game where like it turned out people were
really, the best thing you can do when it comes to any kind of video game review situation, whether regardless of if it's coming from like a bigger, well-known website or someone on YouTube or someone running a blog or whatever, is just to find some people whose taste that you are either similar to your own or that you at least feel like you have a good grip on, and then like listen to them and understand. Like I don't that often agree with like Jeff Gersman on Giant Bomb about stuff, but I
Mhm.
know the ways in which I disagree with him, and so when he talks about games, I know like these are the things that he doesn't like that I do like, and that like I understand where he's coming from with some things. But
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of times when I read like a mainstream viewer's complaint about something, I'm like, nah, dude, that's what's cool about it. And it's like, that's fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with that. Like, I just sort of gravitate towards certain personalities or certain people's, like, you know.
yeah, like Sea of Thieves, Snarkcast says was bashed by the mainstream press, but admits that he's not a big fan of it, but it has a lot of fans and players, and it's like. I played an hour of that game, and there was not a lot to it when it came out. There was nothing there. Like there was some fun to be had, like puking on your friends and stuff, but it was like an empty shell of a video game. So I don't know. The thing is, just because you don't agree with what somebody says doesn't mean that they're on the take or whatever.
Right, and that's the thing. And I don't know. It just seems weird. Like, I mean, there are a lot of games that the infamous example that I always come back to is like IGN gave God Hand a 3, and like I don't particularly like IGN, and like but I never thought like, oh, someone
They did
like
it because they
did it
hated
because they were on the
Clover
take, right? Because they
and-
didn't like Clover, or because they had a beef with Capcom, or
because the person that played it didn't like it.
Konami paid them, right? It's because the person who played it has bad taste in video games, and you know that's fine. I think that's way off the mark, personally. Like, especially because the scales aren't used in a way that, like, I don't like numbers on reviews, anyways. I think you should just read the review and like get what the person is saying by the text, and not just like break it down to a number. But if you're gonna break it down to a number, I feel like using the whole
10
scale,
out of 10, dude.
right? So, but like
Those are my favorite.
at this point, it's like anything below a 7, everybody is just like, well, this must mean it sucks.
This sucks.
And it's like,
Yeah.
you know, and if it's not a 10, like there are people who get mad when like a game that they're anticipating gets like a 9. Like I remember,
This happens with
remember-
every game.
Remember Zelda? All
Yeah.
the Zelda
Yeah.
games?
but I was thinking of who was the woman who wrote the review for, I think it was GTA 4, but it might have been GTA 5 for GameStop. GameSpot.
Yeah,
And she
I don't
gave
remember,
it
but I
like,
remember what you're talking about.
yeah, she gave it like a 9.5 or something, and like people were like mad and like,
I think it was like a 9.25.
okay,
I think
whatever. And
exactly, but I think that's the thing, is like that's how pedantic it was. Is people were like,
Right.
it's not high enough. It's like,
right.
okay,
And it's like, you know, people got shitty online about it with her, and it was just, it's like,
about it to a woman?
that's,
No.
I know, weird,
No
right?
way.
I can't believe it, but it happens, shockingly enough.
Yeah, crazy.
You know, and it's just like that. I just don't. I mean, I don't know. It's whatever. I just tend to think that the best solution to that is to, like Eric said, find somebody whose opinion you either understand enough, even if you disagree with it, or that you just like generally tracks with your opinion, and like read that person's reviews and
That's why I pretty much all of my information comes from watching Giant Bomb Quick Look, because I know I've been listening to those people talk about video games for 10 years, and I know where they're coming from, and
right.
I know where I agree and disagree with them, and I get a lot from watching them play video games, but
Yeah, and I mean like I also just like at this point there's so many games out there and so much stuff to play that I either have like a pretty good sense of like if I'm gonna like
Yeah.
I bought this game without having played it because I was like, okay, people I know are saying that it's a good Devil May Cry, and I know I like Devil May Cry, so like
Right.
when people are like, it's a good one of those, I'm like, okay, like that's good enough for me. And
I'm
like
in.
I bought
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2 without playing it because it was like I know enough of the pieces here that are gonna fit together, and like the early buzz is good, and I played the 30-minute demo on the stream, and it's like, yeah, no, like I feel fine just buying this. And then like the when it's not a big marquee game like that that I'm anticipating for whatever reason, then I just rely on like you guys mostly, right? Like you two or Coffee or Mike or Kurt or somebody is going to be like, yep, this is a good thing that you will either like or not like. And I'm like, okay, sounds legit, you know? So that's my take. But,
That's
yeah.
pretty much where I'm at too.
Yeah, but it's
So I don't know.
getting kind of late, so I think I'm going to call it. And thanks everybody for hanging out. I might do a random stream tomorrow afternoon. Not sure yet, but that'll be on the channel if that happens. Otherwise, we'll see you next week for more of this and Genesis stuff and all that other stuff that we do on Wednesdays. We'll see you then.
All right.